How we all going? Got a little something special for you all today. We got the support gunning / engineer repair person for the tanks video, sort of tutorial tips and tricks kind of deal that I said I was going to bring out. And the main reason why I'm making this video is because tanks are really invaluable in this game. And if you have a decent driver plus a decent support gunner engineer, it actually probably an infinite amount of extra skill, 10 times the amount of, value, it's 10 times as valuable, the tank becomes 10 times as valuable type of thing. And, sorry, but that was a bit of a jumble of words there. But I was saying, the tank becomes infinitely more valuable to the game, and you can actually really drive the game home if you have a good tank combination going. And becomes quite profitable for yourself as well, getting kills and points. I'm probably cleaning up more than the actual tank driver here myself, and I'm in the gunner seat. So getting started. Now the support gunner has three main jobs in the tank. Number one being spotting armor, spotting air vehicles, and spotting infantry. In that order, is probably the most important. So the tank driver knows how to what to do with his tank, and where to drive, what to shoot, and all this. And just to have also watching for that C4 douchebags that try and C4 your tank. Second one is actually shooting the infantry, especially people that are shooting rockets and javelins at you, which is very important. And the third, and probably the most important valuable one, is actually repairing the tank. And it's actually quite a hard skill to master safely and effectively, which we'll go through later on in the video. So first order of business is the spotting side of things. Now, when you're in the support seat, you got a pretty good line of sight. You can pretty much look anywhere with the gunner seat. So it's especially critical when you're coming up on the highly trafficked areas like flags or MCOMs or whatever, when you're getting close to the MCOMs. So a couple of little tips would like to show you guys is basically, when you pull up to a flag, like say this, for example, we're expecting it to be very infantry heavy, so people getting behind us and whatnot. Now, you should always be looking to try and look a different way from the same that your tank driver is looking. So, for example, if you're looking to the front of the tank, you look to the back. That's your area to sort of try and cover as much of the surrounding area as possible by looking at different places. Now and if someone's coming with C4, you tell him, because he needs to back up or whatever, get away from that C4 guy. Sometimes it's hard to shoot them when they're sprinting at you and stuff like that. And try not to be selfish and go for, even if the front of the tank is where all the shit's going down, sometimes you just got to take the back roll and just look at the back and help out as best you can. So that was a good infantry sort of setting. Now, when it comes to armor, it's more important that you tell him exactly where the tank is. See, I spotted this tank right here before he did, and I was like, dude, you need to turn around or do something real quick. And I quickly changed to the third seat, got in, locked on, and he was able to get the tank with the help of my lock on. Now, the deal with that is that you do not want the armor to get behind you, because it has something like a 2 times damage modifier for that kind of if they shoot you in the back. So it's very important that the tanks or any other things don't get behind you, which is why it's also critical for the gunner to be looking behind when there's because if one RPG to the back can do something like 60 or 65 damage, it's quite ridiculous. So it's quite high. I'm not sure exactly the number, but yeah, it's very important to eliminate those guys really quickly. Which brings me to my next point, which will be the gunning side of things. Now the secondary gun in the tank, which I'm in now, is it's actually quite powerful. It does a lot of damage. It behaves very much like a normal gun. Left trigger to zoom in, and at close range you can full auto. A couple of bullets will kill people. At long range, like I'm doing now, you can do a little bit of a tap, sort of tap the rounds out and get some kills at some extreme ranges, like I was just then. And if you do it right, you can actually get more kills than the driver himself, because it's not easy for the driver to sort of hit some targets. Which is next. The next point is prioritizing your targets when you're in the gun. Now, if you know there's a guy like strafing out from a rock or something like that with a RPG or a javelin, it's very hard for the tank main gun to hit that, because he needs to rely on his splash damage, and sometimes it's hard when they're behind a rock or whatever. So it's your job to sort of pre-fire and wait for him to pop out and nail him before and most people that fire RPGs at tanks, they follow this sort of weird pattern. It's very predictable. So if they're on one side of a big rock, they'll shoot one on one side, run to the other side, run back, run back. It's quite easy to predict and counter that. It's one thing you have to sort of pay attention to. And always be looking for guys with C4. It's one of the most frustrating things in the game is getting C4. Personally, I hate it. So, prioritize your targets. If you see a sniper and you see an engineer, who are you going to shoot first? If you see an engineer or you see a support guy, who are you going to shoot first? Quite easy. Engineers over medics and recons, and probably support over engineer depending on the range. If it's close range, support. If it's long range, engineer. That's basically the pattern that I follow, and it's quite simple, and it's a deadly gun. And the only letdown is the sensitivity in the tank's a little bit slow, and you can't really change it no matter how high you put your sensitivity. And that's pretty much all it is for gunning. It's not too difficult. You basically just shoot them. The only real strategy tactics I can part way with is just prioritize your targets, learn to shoot the right people first, and just know where people are going to be hiding, and communicate with your driver. Tell him where you're getting shot from. Tell him where he needs to be looking, or vice versa. If you're the driver, tell your gunner where you're being shot from. You know what I mean? Communication is essential. Alright, now on to repairing. Like I said, probably the most vital part about being a good support gunner. Now, the idea with the repairing is to keep your tank alive for as long as possible. Now, to do this, you have to stay alive, so that means being safe. The golden thing to remember when repairing a tank is the direction you get out of the tank. Now that is decided by the direction you're looking. It doesn't matter if you're using the main gun, the turret, or the third seat CITV station. Whatever way you're looking, you will get out in that direction. A little trick that I like to use when I know I'm going to be have to do quite a bit of repairing, like one-on-one tank battles when the engineers are repairing both tanks. If you've unlocked the third seat, I like to get in the third seat, spin it around in preparation, right? So I can be looking to the front with the turret, and then as soon as I need to get out and repair quickly, hit that A button. I'm automatically looking behind, press B, get out, repair, and then when I get back in, I'm already looking, in the danger zone with the turret. Fortunately, we got taken out there, but I kept him alive long enough to, kill the enemy tank, which also had an engineer, so we won that battle. Now, the thing is, when dealing with like one-on-one, tank battles or armor fights, as soon as you take damage, you have to get out and repair. Otherwise, you're putting yourself at a serious disadvantage, because you will, if they repair quicker than you do, you will eventually lose that battle when your repair tool cools down and they have more health than you do. So it's very important to do that. Some people will recommend to get out and fire a quick rocket, to help your tank. Personally, I don't do that very often, because you put yourself at a pretty big risk to get killed by the enemy tank, because splash damage in tanks is quite high, especially around the base of the tanks. It's quite easy to get killed while repairing, so you've got to be really careful with that. So that's how I deal with tank battles. So next up is dealing with infantry. When there's quite a high amount of infantry troops trying to kill you, javelins, RPGs, or whatever, people trying to see for you. Slightly different mindset to when you're taking on armor. Basically, instead of getting out straight away, it's kind of your job to take out the threats, because you know you have a better chance, rather than relying on the tank driver to make that clutch shot. You can do it a lot easier. So tend to try and as you see here, there's a couple of guys trying to javelin me, and I really realize I have to take these guys out, otherwise it's just going to be back and forth, him taking a shot, missing, them RPGing us, and it's just going to be, eventually they would win, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And as long as you don't let it get too low, you should be okay. If it starts getting below halfway to the disable point, that's when you really need to get out, regardless of if you killed them or not, because you don't want to be disabled when there's tons of infantry, because then you can't get away. Because being disabled is one of the most frustrating things when you're driving a tank, especially in when you're in the shit. You don't want to be disabled, and hopefully your tank driver is not so stupid enough to get you in that situation. But here's a situation coming up where we get disabled by a mortar, and I just thought I would throw this in as a bit of a rare situation. It's happened a few times to me, actually. So what happened was, we were on the B flag and we got hit by mortars, and we got disabled by mortars. Problem is here, we can't move at the moment. It's not yet, it's coming up now, sorry. And the problem is, when you're disabled you can't move, so I had to get out and repair. And as you see, I nearly died straight away from the mortar. And so I realised, I have to actually time this. And you can do this with RPGs to a point as well. You eventually get the rhythm. So basically what I was doing is hopping in and out between the mortar bursts, because I knew I could repair faster than it can hit us, because a direct hit will do 20 damage, but he wasn't getting direct hits. So basically I was just like the basic, as soon as we hit 100, gun us out of here. Unfortunately, Basic's a bit of a noob, and he tried to hunt the mortar guy down, so I had to get in and reverse us out, basically. But that's what to do in that situation. It does happen a few times, and it's not the greatest. So that about sums it up for now, guys. I hope this came out alright, and I hope this helps you guys, in some way or another. Just to sort of, recap and add a few more things. Communication is vital if you have a repair in a tank. Try and be with one of your friends and really communicate. There's a guy coming here, there's a tank over there, chopper, whatnot. And on the topic of choppers, once you unlock the third seat in the tank, and it's the gunner can get in that seat and laser designate choppers or tanks, and the main gun, if he has guided shells on, you can actually shoot down choppers with tanks, like with a guided shell, like an air-to-ground ground-to-air missile, and it's a one-hit kill, and flares don't even affect it. It's a great thing. It's OP if you ask me. You can just destroy choppers, and if you can get that going, it's just going to add another whole level of depth to your tank combination. And just another little thing that I found out sort of recently is that things like the proximity scan, which lights up enemy targets on the minimap moving around you, thermal camo, which makes it harder for javelins and things, guided shells, to lock onto you, and maintenance, which slightly increases the automatic repair on your tank. Those three perks actually work if you're in the gunner seat as well. So essentially you can have the driver using reactive armor and the gunner using one of those three: proxim scan, thermal camo, or maintenance as well. So you have two first perks in the tank, which is a very useful thing. My favorite combination would be proximity scan, reactive armor in the main, and the support gunner using proximity scan. It really helps on close quarter maps and stuff like that, and when you're trying to cap flags, it can take a bit of the threats off. So anyways, guys, hopefully I can see a few more people repairing tanks after this, and your tank driver will really appreciate it if you apply some of these things that I taught you. If you have any more questions, or if I didn't quite clear something up for you guys, please feel free to ask me, Xbox Live, ESGN, or in the comments here. I'm happy to help anyone. Also, if you want to have a game or two, don't hesitate to add my gamer tag, Magic Space AU. And also follow me on Twitter, guys. It's at Magics_AU. I'll put it in the description below. And yeah, guys, take it easy, and I hope you enjoyed that repair support gunner tank video. See you guys.